We warn you, you might not like the truth. We were in a very tight-knit family. April 26th, 2010, that's the day that we adopted Natalia. We had no idea what we were dealing.
She was an adult. You could just tell. I'm like, whoa.
Sons.
I definitely didn't feel safe around Natalia.
You've adopted a kid and now they're trying to kill you. I mean, it's the stuff of a horror movie.
With a knife in her hand.
She's tiny. There's more than one villain in this story. There's more than one villain in this story. Michael accuses Christine of beating Natalia.
My mom is definitely not 100% innocent.
Just when you think you have it solved, you find out you don't.
We were all abused! We were all abused! We were all abused! I hate this.
Well, kicking down the stairs, we said we're not going to say, right? Oh, still my microphone on.
Buckle up.
Something ain't right with Natalia. This girl is tweaking. If she laid for us, we have held her hostage. Made us look like we're the enemy.
Natalia stabbing her family in the back over at his complete lie.
This season, Natalia tells her side of the story.
I want you to know how old I am. I want you to know about my past because I want to know too.
Sorry. Are you sorry about what she did to me?
I am horrified by what she has done to you.
Child, Michael ain't horrified by nothing. Do you hear me? Michael was horrified about going to jail and dropping the soap. That is what he was horrified about, y'all. But if you guys are new here, my name is Ashley, and this is My Sweet Perspective, where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. And y'all, we are back to talk The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, seasons 1 and seasons 2, because we are on the cusp of the final part that will be airing Monday night and Tuesday night. They're airing on 2 nights. And y'all, I'm ready to get into it because when I watched this for the first time last year, this was one of the most salacious, unreal, unbelievable docuseries that I had seen in a very, very long time. But y'all know I'm not here alone. Let's bring up EJ, the TV junkie, because she's the one I didn't really get to see her expression and reaction in real time. EJ, talk to me about Natalia. First of all, how are you today? And real quick, was this a shocker to you? Was this docuseries, was your mouth hanging open? Like, were you falling out?
Girl, I was doing a lot. I did so much that I was talking about it. I talked about it and I was looking at it in bed at night. My husband done fooled around and looked at it. Next thing you know, next day, he looking at the doggone doc. He loved documentary. He had never seen it before. We were both flabbergasted. We've been talking about this for the last 2 days, just trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it out, baby, because we still all have questions. And after the end of season 2, them last 2 minutes that they slid in on us, I've got a whole lot of questions. Last but not least, to the stage, we have Tyra over there at Struggle Reviews TV. Tyra, I got to witness your reactions in real time. Yeah. But was this shocking? Was this one of the most shocking docuseries that you've seen in a while? Honestly,
I mean, in a minute, yeah, I've seen some stuff now, but I still don't know how old she is. You know, I don't care. I don't know. I don't trust it. I don't know that man, woman, child. I don't know. I don't feel secure about the answers that we led off with. I just don't know what to think. The doc did a very good job of convincing you of one thing, and then by the time you got to the next episode, it was like, well, damn, maybe she was 9. I don't know. I don't know, but this was very, very, very good. It's that sit on the edge of your seat type of doc.
That part, and I can't wait to get into it. Let's just say hello to a couple of people in the building. Pretty Girl was first one in the building, and she talked about she ready. Listen, let's get into this dumpster fire mess of lies, mysteries, trauma, and listen, it was all of the above. It was all of the above. Hey, Books, Gurs, and Purrs. Hope you're having the most amazing evening. Hey, Tony T. Hey, Vicky J. Hey, Darfalina. Hope everyone is doing well. TP in the building. with the full beard that connects. We're going to dive right into it. Okay. I got to give him a hard time every single time. Okay. And so first, y'all know we got to go here every single time. And I want to know, because when I watched, and I binge watched this, so y'all know this has been over the last 3 years. I would have been fit to be tied if I watched that season 1 and had to wait a year to watch the part 2 to get any resolution. That would have pissed me off, because season 1, I thought Natalia was the orphan, damn it. I thought that she was a 35-year-old woman. I thought she had infiltrated them people's house. I thought she was on a mission to unalive them and their kids. That's what I believed in my heart. Coming into season 2, I was like, oh, okay. That they did the DNA, they did Dana, they did the teeth, and they were like, this baby was a baby the whole time. And so of course it changed my entire perception. And then I was like, there's some suspicious stuff. Who is this family? Why are we doing an adult adoption? And then in the last 2 minutes, we got what we got. Tyra, I'm going to start with you. What were your overall thoughts just in general after watching both seasons?
It was just never a good thing for me to go into this having seen the orphan down, back and front multiple times, because I'm like, oh, we've seen this. We know how this movie ends. She alive. She infiltrated. This is as far as I was concerned before we ever watched it. Natalia was 40. Okay, I didn't know, but I enjoyed this for the dramatics of it. Like, there is something truly unnatural about this doc and the behavior that we get from these people. I don't think my mind was changed either way. You can't naturally see that man, his wife, the state of his children, past and present, and not think that something is off and that something is wrong. But as far as what they had to say about Natalia, I was like, I'm not believing anything, because we adopted her how? What was the rush? What was the intent? And if everything was everything, you could have just given her back or found her a different home like everybody else decided to. It was when we moved her into the separate apartments and facilities and whatnot is when I got to questioning, okay, well, how old is she? How old is she? Because there's just no way I could fathom this baby being in here at this point, because that, 7, 8, 9 years old, out of here just fending for yourself alone, and you guys just left her there. And then you have your bleeding heart as a parent and as a mother, for children. And then you flip it and you have these reactions from these bystanders, these neighbors who saw her. And it's just like, oh, we just didn't know we was coming or going. Like, we were ducking because we didn't. I was like, what? There just seems to be this innocence, but also this trail of questionable behavior that follows her, even if she was a child, that just makes you question everything that's going on all the time. And I just hate it so much, because I want to know whose side I need to be on.
Listen.
I want to know whose side I need to be on. And it's definitely going to be Natalia's side, because at the end of the day, with the confirmation that we got, I think she was a child at the end of the day. So, that's where it's going to lie. But I'm not going to unnaturally say Natalia's perfectly fine and perfectly innocent, because I do not think so. I think Natalia had been through some things with that families before that, and way over there in Ukraine before she ever touched ground over here. And I think that affected her to where mentally she maybe behaved and did some things that she shouldn't have, even if she was a child. But we gonna see what happened in the next part.
Well, what I said was, baby, if Natalia's a monster today, they made that monster. The 2-3 families that had Natalia before what felt like trafficking situation for me, these 24-hour fly-by-night, pay under the table adoptions. Like, you're not going to make me believe that there's some villainy in everyone, but I honestly believe that Natalia was a construct. I think they made her and they didn't get that baby no help. And me by myself, not 1 but 2 apartments, I would know how she even endured, which again is part of the reason.
Does Ashley sound like a robot to anybody else, or is it just me? Ashley's turned into a robot.
I think she froze
back now. Am I still a
it's
robot?
Like, it might just be me then.
No, go talk again,
Am I
because
back
she's
now,
like
or am I
moving
frozen?
like this.
Yeah, I can barely see Ashley. She's blurry now. It just went out of focus out of nowhere. She said, oh, I'm getting out of here. Ashley said, don't tell me twice. I'm getting out of here.
I'll be back.
It just went into, Optimus Prime territory. I was like, let me ask her before we continue on, because restream be restreaming. But yeah, I can't wait, EJ. I don't have like sufficient answers to go, this is exactly what that was, and this is what happened to Natalia. We really don't know. Like, everything is just so suspicious.
It really is. Because honestly, the way I looked at it, I was like you. The first one, I had already seen Orphan. So I said, oh, Lord, oh, God, this is another Orphan. I said, in real life, is this where they got this from? Like, I'm literally just going down that whole rabbit hole. And I was like, I can't believe this grown woman that infiltrated this house, I'm just like going in on the little girl. There she go. And she's all not blurry no more.
Oh, good and stuff.
Looking glistening and glassy. I like it.
Ashley, are you okay?
Y'all go ahead, because I hear a very bad echo. So let me fix this in the background.
I see. Okay. I think I heard no, and I seen a finger.
She said, "Y'all go ahead," and something about.
Okay, but yeah, I don't know, EJ. Like, this is just such a it's a juicy mystery, but I try not to get too invested because these are children at the end of the day. The state that she was left in at these ages, the things that may look suspicious could have been completely innocent. When we get into her like calling, I think it was a police call, and she's like, "I'm gonna harm my neighbors and stuff." I was like, she was 8 and 9 years old. I don't know. I don't know.
That's the part. That's the problem right there, is that when you see the first set of it, you think one thing, and then all of a sudden you flip and you get to see the second season, and everything that you just thought was a certain way, you're like, oh my gosh, these people are trash, and what in the world are they doing? You done dropped the whole kid off. The kid out here pulling trash cans, and I'm like, my 6-year-old, 7, 8-year-old would never pulled that doggone trash can out there. So like, I'm flip-flopping because I'm just trying to figure out how in the world, like, is she fending for herself? But then it's like, how the neighbors are talking, and then when you realize what age she is based off of what they said, you're like, well, that's kind of some childlike behavior. It kind of makes sense. I
don't know, EJ. The way Natalia explains these things away, it's always like, it looked like that, but actually, it's always a circumstance to why it can't be no circumstance to why something looked like something. It wasn't every single place you go. Like, them people sound like they were scared. Like, we just hated her. We all just wanted her to move out. Like, oh.
A lot, because I'm saying it kept going flip-flop. You didn't know which way to go. I was like, well, maybe if she was a kid, maybe that's why she was just popping up at everybody's house. But then I was like, but what about that one house with the guy
and the behavior? Like, and just Natalia will explain some things away, and it's like over explaining. Natalia gives me, she's trying to block out some trauma, and she will like rationalize some situations, or because the way that she speaks, baby, she has the memory of an elephant.
Girl.
Because she'd be like, well, when I was 3 and then at 4, I was in the such and such, and she remembers things in such detail. But then it's like, when it really counts and we need to go like, okay, Natalia, what was happening? When I don't remember that. Where'd you get this? I don't know. I don't know. I think there's selective things happening to where she is choosing to block stuff out because she had been through some stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I don't know, but I also still think that she got a little dark side to her too.
She tweaking.
Absolutely. Natalia's not this pretty princess. She pinched that baby. Like she said, she was doing stuff. And when they said she would reach around in that diaper and try to spread it on that boy and was throwing his toys in the middle of the street like the good son, I believed it. I did. Now, like I said, do I think that she was definitely victimized? Poor baby. Oh, yeah. She was. But oh no, Natalia. And again, we don't know what that journey was like from Ukraine to here, because it gave trafficking vibes. That's what it gave to me. So we don't know what that baby endured. And we just know that she got passed around to 2-3 families. We find out about a whole extra family in season 2. Child, that baby went through a lot, but she was doing a lot as well, I believe, after that. Disclaimer though, y'all, this is a wild doc. Please know that all opinions are expressed are our own, and no offense is intended at all, but we're going to give it to you because it was a lot to talk about. and a lot going on. So let's start here because, baby, the way that I even felt like they had curated the pictures in season 1 made me feel like this was an old lady and not a baby girl. Like, listen, there were some harsh, like, and then in season 2 we get the real baby pictures, and I'm like, okay, now she looks like a child. But before, this did not, to me, it did not look like a 6-year-old child. Okay, so who is Natalia Grace? Honest opinion, I want to know from you, EJ, first season, did you think that she was an adult?
Heck yeah. I said, oh, this is a whole full-grown adult that infiltrated this house up in here doing these things to these kids, to this family, about to unalive them. This is an adult. Like, that is literally what I thought. And I had no questions asked. This is an adult. This is what I believe. Let's get to where y'all tell us that she was an adult. Because I knew it. Period. I knew it.
Tyra still said allegedly. So season 1, and then when they bring the other baby who's got the exact same condition, and they try to do a play date, and the mom is like, that baby look old. I'm never bringing my child around her again. This is not a 6-year-old. And then present day, they're like, yeah, she look way older than me. That's not how I look. And everybody's different, but it's like so much went into proving the narrative that Natalia was grown. Tyra, I mean,
yeah. No, it was so purposefully done. Like, if you don't have any nuances from that second part, then it's just like, oh, this is a grown ass woman. I was waiting on her to take out them false teeth. I thought, with nobody looking, Natalia was skipping, running along, hopping. She might have grew a few inches as far as I was concerned. Like, those side-by-side pictures, they had to have been manipulated. Like, I do not care. I did have a moment where I think they show a picture. It's a little foggy, but you can see like teeth missing. And I'm like, I have children. We know when they lose teeth. Like, but it's like, well, if she's a grown ass person, she's trying to, appear as a child, she might knock one out. I don't know, but it was that side by side with, we have the same, ailment. It's just like, well, she does look a little old in comparison to the other baby. But it was masterfully done. It played on my intentions. I definitely thought going in that she was an adult and that maybe she had some ill intent with this family, and her coming from the Ukraine and all. I was like, this just looks real suspicious.
Mm-hmm. And they never talk about the other family. Like, they never tell what happened. I just bought into the whole thing right there.
I did too, honey. So basically, we find out that this was a back alley adoption done at a building that I don't think is even there anymore. They said, basically, you got 24 hours to get this little child with this condition, and you got to take her now or forever hold your peace. We gonna sell her off to the highest bidder. That's what it gave to me. Like, there is a time date stamp on this transaction. If y'all don't do it in 24 hours, it's over. But what we discover, of course, is that not only has she been with one family, two family, they would go to these little people conventions and try to pawn her off on anybody they could. And so there were other families, we find out, who were basically like, well, I need a battery of tests done. I need her to have a psych eval. And they said, no. Why you got to do all that? Why you asking all them questions? You asking all them questions. Just take her. And so then we get, of course, this back alley 24-hour adoption where Christine and Michael, who we're going to meet shortly in the next slide, say, listen, we want this baby. We have 2 sons, honey. My one son is in Mensa. He's 12, giving TED Talks. I want to take on this new project, is what it feels like to me. So I want her by any means necessary. EJ, talk to me about the back alley adoption. And you have to, if you're presented with a baby, right? No home, no parents, you desperately want a child, and the people tell you, yeah, but you only got 24 hours. Are you going for it? And what did you think of this whole situation?
Listen, I'm a different type of person. I am skeptical about every doggone thing. There's no way you could give me 24 hours and I would have been like, yeah, absolutely. Desperation be damned. I wouldn't do it. It's just because of the fact, like, I feel like if somebody pushing something off like that in a process that you know is a longer process, is a tedious process, is a process that people spend tons of time trying to do this process. I mean, sometimes years, and you telling me we're about to get this done in 24 hours? Red flags going up all the way, and I'm not buying it. And whatever it is, you can keep them, because I don't want them, because something ain't right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that for a fact, and I believe that in my heart. But I mean, just this whole thing, like, even my husband and I, we were talking about this. This is one of the key things that we talked about, was the place. Like, you look at that place and you're like, there's no way in the world I walk up in this place and think that it's an adoption agency.
Never.
Or a place that I could go and get a child from. This really looks like some kind, it looked like to me, like this is a place that we dropped the look like a trafficking place. Like, we drop the kids off here. It's a, you know, like a black market type of thing. Like, it's not real. Something is not right about this place. That was another red flag for me. And the fact that you got these two jokers going up in there, but then later we'll get into that later. But the fact that you got these two jokers going up in there trying to get a child within 24 hours, I'm like, no, what is wrong with you people? So from the very jump, the adoption part has always been sketch. And then as we learn more and more and more about it, get even more sketch. But yeah, back alley adoption, no. And if anybody is thinking about a back alley adoption, run. Okay? Run. Don't walk, run.
Okay? This is a PSA. Tyra, you have 24 hours. Are you taking the baby? And what do you think about Christine and Michael's true motives with this adoption? Because under what circumstances, in what world are you abiding by that, especially after you see this facility where you have to go acquire this child?
And we're going to get into them folks, but they wanted this baby because of her disability. And they were willing to go, especially that woman, to go, you know, any extent, anything that looks shady. Like, the limitation of 24 hours is crazy. And that just shows just how desperate they were. Not to even question, why is it so urgent? Why the 24-hour mark? Why, you know, other families wanting to do a little deeper intel, you know, let's have a little psych eval before we, you know, this child has the potential to, of course, be around my current children. I need to make sure they're safe and we're safe. No, we don't care. We didn't care because we wanted, in which we, you know, we found out later, they were interested more in her disability and what that could look like for them as a family, and more in, not less about, you know, her current state of mind, or just the shadiness of the adoption process at all. Like, it just shows more so their motives, because I know those other folks, even though that could, you know, be taken with a grain of salt, because the 24-hour in them, you know, kind of, that baby, it's like they was ringing a bell, Liberty Bell, baby for sale, anybody, anything, like they were, it's giving off like they were trying to get rid of her. And it's like, let's hurry it up before they find out anything that's occurred with her before. And if we don't, you know, make it 24 hours and they want to know more information, they might not want her after that. Like, yeah, it's something eerie about that also, but more so with their motives. I think it was just her disability and what the mother felt like she could be for her agenda.
Oh, absolutely. Hype Green 05, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It says, listen here. Thank God for Beth, the lawyer, because I didn't know who to believe. She, the only one I trust in this mess. Amen and amen. And Samantha, I saw your comment about needing background. I'm going to play the intro really, really quick, and we'll be right back, okay? Just to give you a kind of rundown.
You're going to get the truth.
Rest of this.
I will pre-warn you, you might not like the truth. We were in a very tight-knit family. April 26th, 2010, that's the day that we adopted Natalia. We had no idea what we were dealing.
She was an adult. You could just tell. I'm like, whoa.
Sons, I definitely didn't feel safe around Natalia.
You've adopted a kid and now they're trying to kill you. I mean, it's the stuff of a horror movie.
With a knife in her hand.
She's tiny. There's more than one villain in this story. There's more than one villain in this story. Michael accuses Christine of beating Natalia.
My mom is definitely not 100% innocent.
Just when you think you have it solved, you find out you don't.
We were all abused! We were all abused! We were all I hate this.
Well, kicking down the stairs we said we're not going to say, right? Oh, still my microphone on.
Buckle up.
Something ain't right with Natalia. This girl is tweaking. If she would answer us, we have held her hostage. Made us look like we're the enemy.
Natalia stabbing her family in the back over a complete lie.
This season, Natalia tells her side of the story.
I want you to know how old I am. I want you to know about my past because I want to know too.
Sorry.
Child, we all want to know. But in a nutshell, these people adopted this baby from Ukraine, thinking it was a child, come up with this story that she's really an adult, put her in an apartment. She lives on her own, only to discover after all is said and done, after all manners of abuse, inpatient admissions to the adult psych units, all sorts of things, that she's really an adult, and they're put on trial. Another family enters wanting to adopt her as an adult. And it's just a dramatic ball of mess that you'll really have to watch to understand. Yeah. So here we go. Let's meet the parents. And I blocked out them children because they was blocked out in the documentary, and I don't want no smoke because of the pictures I found online. But this is Christine and David. We find out that Christine and David, I believe, have been married for 10 years before, 10 or 15 years by this time. And they got all the money. Okay. They have that, a 13 bedroom, 13 TVs in their mini mansion. Okay. One of the sons is super bright, allegedly, but it kind of comes to light that Christine framed that as well. But he's doing TED Talks. He's going across the country. He going to recite to you verbatim pi every chance he gets. He's going to write formulas on the wall. Now he's living downstairs in a pink basement. She absconds with the children when it don't work out, moves to Canada, and Michael is there with in his hand. We find out so much about these people as the doc goes on, but just to meet them, Christine wears the pants in this family. Okay, it seems she's the breadwinner, right? Because she's out here writing books. I think they said she had made $500,000 on this book about how to raise a genius, right? Which is why $600,000. Which is why they say or feel like she wanted Natalia, because basically Natalia was going to give her another book. Honey, yes, I raised a little person as well. She's a genius also. I breed geniuses over here. I raise them up. And I mean, there were talks about her potentially getting a TV show, all kinds of things. And then you have David over here who, listen, I don't know if David likes women. They push it like he does. But if you watch this, the level, I don't know. David's totally different in my book. Totally different. He says that she was sexually abusing him because she was withholding the Smex, but they both agreed to take on Natalia. I want to know from you, Tyra, your initial impressions of these people, because we don't meet Christine in the doc. She tells the people when they try to get a statement that the network is whack. She would never do this documentary. David takes center stage and he is a born ham. Talk to me, Tyra, about these two and your thoughts. You're muted.
David is guilty, but nobody can't tell me that he isn't also a victim. There is some real live ill intent with Christine, and almost the way that she seems opportunist towards anybody who has some form of disability or they're neurodivergent. It's just an opportunity of I feel like she sought David out. There is a sense with her that she can mold and make, someone do what she wants them to do. And I think this was, a money bag for her. And David, even though I can't even explain the behavior that we see from David. David is unwell. David it's not okay. And you can tell that someone who is putting on, and this is for the cameras and behind closed doors. This is he just trying to make sure we think no, I think this is him. I think that this is him. And I think that this is him in his most broken, worn down state, because it wasn't just her. David had, businesses and all of these other things, and these things going to where he seemed like he was a stable partner and husband and father and everything. But as far as the control and what he says Christine did, I think she did it. But you didn't do anything to stop it, so you're guilty by association. Like, at the end of the day, you were the parent, you were the dad, Michael. Michael was all of those things, but I don't feel like he was okay. I just don't. I don't know. This could be for show, and he could be masterminding some things, because at the end of the day, Michael said, "Who going to jail? I don't care what I have to do." Y'all speaking on Miss the lawyer, he had a very good lawyer also. Whether it was wrong or not, the defense was defending. I don't know if this was an act. Like, I don't care what camera's on, you make sure you turn it on so you appear a certain way. But it does not feel like completely fake to me. Like, this is a shell of a man who is mentally disabled, in my opinion. But that's just me.
Michael is unwell, y'all. I've been calling this man David. This man's name is Michael. I knew that. I just wanted him to be David. I guess. Girl, don't judge me. Judge your mama. Don't judge me. But I totally agree that Michael is totally different. I've never seen anything like it in an undramatized space, especially from a grown, near elder man. The fact that he is pounding on the floor saying, "Cameras, you got that?" crying on demand after we see everything, it makes him so disingenuous, honey. I think he just wanted to be kept. He wanted to be kept in that mini mansion with his multiple 1989 sports cars. I think that is what kept him holding on. Hype Green 05, thank you again for the $10 super chat. Let me say something else. I don't trust an animated MFer, okay? The father was animated AF. Everything he did and said was over the damn top. Dude was doing the absolute most. Don't trust him.
Yeah, don't trust him at all.
He should be institutionalized. Seriously.
Don't trust him, but I think there's some form of mental handicap with that man. Like, that's something's up. I don't know what the ailment is quite yet, but there's something that's unstable.
Absolutely. EJ, talk to me about the parentals. Talk to me about Christine and your perception of Michael in this journey.
Yeah, Christine definitely wore the pants in this family. Christine, Christine was the one who made the money. She was the one who had everything set up, the social media stuff, giving people advice out here, getting people to pay for this advice. Boy, I bet those people looking back at this and looking like they feel real stupid right about now. But I'm just saying, I ain't judging y'all. But still. I mean, come on now. But like, she was the one who did all of that. And she gives off this air about her, just seeing the videos of her, the way that she was asking Natalia these questions. I was like, once we got to a certain point in it, I was like, what is really going on? Why do we keep going back and forth over this so much? Like, Christine was just giving you a little something was off with her when you were first, after you just kept looking at those videos. I'm like, who sits up here and videotapes all of this stuff the way that she was videotaping it? But Michael is the one that gets me. Michael takes the cake. Michael will turn it on and off. I ain't even gonna lie to y'all. Michael had me believing him for like a whole hot second in that first half of the season. I was like, dang, Michael, that's messed up, Michael. And then when you get to all the contradictions and they actually show the video footage of him saying one thing and then coming back and saying a whole different thing, it's almost like he was regurgitating everything that Christine had told him. And that's the only reason why I feel like I agree with you, Tyra, that Michael was kind of a victim from Christine as well, in a way. Like, he really had some trauma from this woman as well. I felt like he was at work, he was away from the home most of the time when most of these things were going down, and then he got these stories regurgitated to him, and all he did was believe his wife. Whatever she said, he just believed what she said. I'm not saying that he didn't witness any of this stuff, but I guarantee you that a big bulk of this stuff Michael wasn't there for. And Michael he was just told what he was told. And then if your wife or your husband tells you something, you're probably most likely going to believe what they say. Like, the little girl had a knife on me. This happened. I found a knife. You know what I'm saying? And then you go find a knife under her bed. Like, so there were certain elements where I believed what Michael believes what he's saying really is true on that first set of tapes. I believe that he believes that stuff because he's just repeating. But then when we see Michael fighting for his life, Michael is like, look, I'm out here fighting for my life and I am about to go all the way in. I loved his lawyer. I really I was like, okay, way to go, lawyer, because the lawyer had him at a point where, look, you need to go out here and sell this as much as you possibly can, because if you do not, you are going to be doing, 10 to 20 up here with Bertha, and that is not what you want to do. Okay. So he went out there and he sold it. Michael turned those tears on every single time. He was like, I was like, dang, Michael, if you cry, I think I sent y'all a message for that. I said, if Michael cried one more doggone time,
don't cry.
There is a performative element to everybody here in this doc, which is really different.
Absolutely. And I think for what it's worth, Michael has constructed some things in his mind, some things I think that were told to him, but there's also some things he told the truth on. Some things he absolutely told the truth about, which again is why I think that everybody had a hand in everything. Okay. Now, speculation says that, okay, so here's what happens, y'all. They bring Natalia back that first night after this back alley 24-hour turnaround time adoption. They go to give her a bath. Christine allegedly looks below the belt and says, there's bush, right? I've never seen a 6-year-old little girl with an afro down there. And so she calls Michael in, which I don't know why she needed him to come in there. I thought that was kind of uncomfortable, but what's going on? And so again, allegedly, this is them framing the story, right? Because at this point, it's only been a day. Natalia hasn't done anything to cause issue or worry. They just say that that's odd and they're going to ease on down the road. Later we get into all of these things. I guess when Natalia wasn't learning as fast as Christine wanted her to, I mean, she probably was displaying some sort of behaviors. Ultimately, Christine gets to a point where she no longer wants her. And this is where kind of this story comes from. They start painting this picture by going to different doctors, by seeing what they can do, seeing what their options are. Conveniently, at some point, a police officer that they get involved tells them that they need to have her re-aged, which starts kind of the whole other part of this drama. Now, I'm not a horror girly, EJ. I have never seen the movie Orphan. Have you seen Orphan? And if so, does this story fully align with it?
Absolutely. I have seen Orphan. That I have seen. And when I saw this, I said, oh, they really did pull an Orphan. That's the first thing I thought about. I was like, they really did pull the whole Orphan out here in these streets. I was like, oh my goodness, because I really believed it. I was like, oh, this is a real life Orphan story. They had me sold. I ain't gonna lie to you. I believed it.
Tyra, what is the Orphan even about? What is the girl's motive in the Orphan? I know she's an adult. I know she infiltrates this family, but to what end? What was the point?
Girl, she's trying to get that husband. She goes and, another adoption. I don't know. She might have been it wasn't the Ukraine. I don't know. It was somewhere that wasn't here. and they get her and it's like, oh, she's so intelligent for her age. She seems really evolved. She's going to be a great addition. We already lost, a baby. And they already have, I think, 2 current children. And she starts to, chip away, do things. She's endangering the kid's life, trying to kill the kids. Anybody who comes to check out, we're just killing everybody because my identity will not be revealed. And she slowly inches away at doing things meticulously to get under the mother's skin. And nobody's believing the mother because they're like, well, it's a little girl. Like, relax. It's like, no, she did this and she knew what she was doing up until the point that she's believed down to the point by her own husband. He's just like not here and taking her side. But the husband gets tipsy, or she gives the husband something I don't remember, but she tries to push up on this man. And when he rejects her, then we take out those little kitty false teeth. We see all of this. Apparently she had been getting up applying makeup, child, to make herself look younger. And she reveals like how old she really is and just wreaks havoc on the husband. He's dead. Like everybody leaving his mother to, fend for herself and feed for her children. But she's unveiled to, not be a little girl. And she was really a grown ass woman.
Lord have mercy.
In her 30s, I believe. She was in them 30s.
Mm-hmm. Lord have mercy. Green, we are definitely going to get there. We're covering both seasons, so bear with us. But thank you again for the $5 super chat. When are we getting to the argument between the bishop and the lawyer, because baby, somebody was about to swing. Oh, we're going to talk about it. We are going to talk about it. But I mean, you know, Christine said, I got a plan. I just needed a platform. You know what I'm saying? That's what Christine said as far as this whole situation. See, they didn't show us this picture in the first season because that looks like a little girl right there. Those are not the pictures they showed us of Natalia, but allegations, knives, pledge, and other things. So as the story goes on, we find out that they say Natalia is at the foot of the bed with the knife. Honey, she's been standing there all night. Michael has to get up and sleep in the hallway just to make sure she doesn't come in and get him. The other family, the prospective adopters, who I don't know why they stepped in now. It's convenient for me that they're here doing interviews, but they said she's a little person. She can't cause damage. How can you be scared of a child? I want to make something very clear. I don't know if it's because of the era we grew up in, but I've seen Good Son. I saw Chucky. I saw dolls. I saw a lot of little creatures that wreaked havoc and took people out. So you would never have me question the prowess of a little person, okay? But again, we find out that allegedly, in addition to the knife, baby, she done poured pledge in Christine's coffee, allegedly. She's been, you know, just doing the most. Again, she was trying to hurt the little boys, you know, doing things to them, throwing their toys in the street, hoping they would run out and get hit by cars. Said that she would go to the bathroom on herself and try to on the boys. So, you know, rooms and all man.
Ashley went out again.
What about this Ashley? And did Natalia put pledge in that lady coffee while she was standing?
You're going out again, Ashley. But I don't think so. Some of these things are true and some of these things are just drop dead false. With the way Christine operated with her own children, trying to embed certain things in them to make them appear a little bit more brilliant than they maybe actually were for profit. And the way that Natalia says she got her to even comprehend, you're an adult. If anybody asks, you're this age. And if you tell anybody anything, I'm going to beat you. I'm going to mace you. I'm going to do all these things. I don't think that was true. The pledge and the whole thing, I think that these were Christine's way of maybe trying to build up her case for whenever, which is strange because it's like, just give this baby back. Just, you know, give her a dip. Like, I just didn't get it. But then you have this all kind of under the gaze of Christine didn't want to appear a certain way to the public. Like she just gave up on this little girl that couldn't handle it and gave her back. So you just decided to frame her, run her in the ground, and eventually move her out to these poor ass conditions, just hoping she would die. Like, what? Like, what sense does that even make? None of this makes any sense. I don't think the pledge thing was real. The Natalia having situations with the sons, that could be real or it could be fake. If you are thrown into this abusive situation, especially when we get confirmation from one of the sons on the urinating situation and things that they may have did to her, she maybe did do some things in defense, like have a knife. I think the knife thing happened. if Michael wasn't standing on nothing else, say, I don't know, I'm gonna throw Christine under the bus for everything else because I was just there. I had my phone and she knocked it out. I was like, Michael, please go. He needs to be on somebody's soap opera. That knife, he is standing on business about that knife and her having it. And if she did, she was probably terrified. I mean, I'm not gonna blame her for trying to probably defend herself or feeling some type of way towards these children, or maybe having some preconceived conditions because of things that she experienced before. Maybe she wasn't on her best behavior when she found out that this home wasn't what she thought it was. But the whole pledge and the incident, I don't trust anything that Christine is selling as far as what she said that this baby did. Like, I think she was just building up things to go, well, these are the things that took place. So whenever this situation happened and it blew up in everybody's face, she would have her little calendar and notations of this is what, when these incidents happened and we thought she was older. Look, she put this in my coffee. That knife, I think that happened.
Oh, I do too. That's the one thing he didn't back down on in season 2. And I was like, oh no, he saw that. He saw that, EJ. What do you think about the allegations? And of course, we know Christine was building a case to get rid of her. And I think it was more about, like we've been talking about before, Christine seemingly was very much about appearances and about what she could do and kind of status, right? And being one of the elites and I can do this and I can move this way. And when Natalia didn't fit into her plan, it was a wrap. But do you think she put the pledge in there? And what do you think about these other allegations? And also, do you think that she was trying to smear the stuff on the other kids? Like, do you think she was wreaking havoc in the house?
I think that when somebody is traumatized, that bad behavior can come out. So I do not. I honestly believe that there was bad behavior, but I think that this behavior comes from some place. I don't think she just came up in there and was like, oh, I'm just going to terrorize these people and do all of this stuff. When you look at it as a whole and you start to try to put all of the pieces together, you know that there is some truth to some of the things, and then there's some untruths. One of the untruths that I believe is the pledge. That every time Christine is with this doggone video camera and taping stuff, when she is taping stuff in specific, she's always trying to tape stuff so that she can have this proof. You know what I'm saying? Like she literally was building this up. We know that she was building this up and she was getting all of her evidence together. But at the same time, this girl was still a child. So someone was coaching her to tell, I'm this, I did this, I did that, I did this. But at the same time, this child was probably terrified at some point, you know, like if these things were happening while Michael was gone, especially like he's not there, that means Christine doing whatever the heck she want to do. And she's probably saying everything that she want to say. And then she gets to the point where she starts videotaping certain things on purpose. Like when if I'm not mistaken, she videotaped her when she said something about that pledge in the coffee or something like that. And I was like, what? That was just too convenient for me. You know what I'm saying? Like that just didn't make any sense. And you can tell a child to say X, Y, and Z. And if you keep telling them enough, they're going to repeat it eventually. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's not like Natalia was not smart. She could have some adult conversations. It felt like when she was sitting on that thing when she was talking to that police officer, she was having a whole conversation. And I was like, "Ooh, she is having a really, you know," and that's another thing that led me to believe that I thought she was an adult. Like it was like a lot of going back and forth. But at the end of the day, this is all Christine. Christine is a horrible individual. Let's just point that she is a horrible individual. Natalia didn't deserve any of this at the end of the day. But I for one second will not say that Natalia did not have bad behavior, because I honestly believe she did. I just believe it comes from a place. And I don't want to put it all on her, but I think that she has bad behavior because of everything that she's been through.
I agree. It has to be trauma. You come from your homeland, you're given up by your mom, you're shuffled around, probably because there are things that have gone undiagnosed, unaddressed as you've been growing. I mean, you can't help that. That's definitely the nature kind of debate, right? Does your environment, your circumstances make you into the person that you are? And definitely in those formative years, I'm sure. So again, Christine is at her breaking point, allegedly. They get the popo involved, and they say that one police officer calls Michael on the phone directly and is like, here's what you need to do. I got the plan, because this is a grown person. This is a person who's going to terrorize you unless you do something. Conveniently, this man is no longer in the land of the living. His notes don't specify anything of the sort, nothing of the sort, okay? And so it can't be corroborated, right? But they got it from somewhere. They go to a judge for an age change, and the judge says, well, you know, I'll just move her date back 10, 15 years. We'll take it back from 2003 to 1989. So she goes from being 7, 8, 9 years old to 20, 21, 22, right? That's the thing. It is crazy as hell. And I feel like everybody needs to be, debenched? I don't know what they do to judges, but they need to be kicked off the bench, booted. Because in what world would you do this? We know that you can get dental records, have dental examinations. We find out in the second season that Christine did go and get a dental exam, and the dentist told her what the baby's true age was. But this judge says, listen, I'm going to go with this arbitrary age. Y'all are saying she's grown. So she's grown. EJ, What competent judge would do something like this? Or did Christine know somebody? Somebody had to know somebody.
Girl, Christine knew somebody. It wouldn't shock me if she had some connections. I mean, we got to remember that Christine had built this online presence. She had built connections and things like that. And I believe that the judge was bought and paid for. Like, honestly, like the stuff that we see on television doesn't come from just anywhere. People buy and pay for stuff all the time, right? We are a world where you can buy just about anything you want. And I believe that this is exactly what happened with Christine. There is no judge that is just going to sit up there and re-age somebody this many years without having a little stash kicked to them. And like, because she probably went in there and she was like, look, she is a terror. We cannot get rid of her. She has done X, Y, and Z. And they probably had the judge she probably had the judge feeling bad for her, like, because, oh my goodness. And because who wouldn't? If I'm hearing about somebody terrorizing your home and you're afraid for your kids and you blind and blue-eyed, of course I'm gonna be fearful. I'm gonna want to help you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the nature of how these people are gonna think. And I just feel like everything can be bought. I know she was bought. Whoever this judge was, he, she, whomever was bought and paid for, and it is what it is. And they changed this age. There are procedures that you have to go through for anything when it comes to court. Like, we didn't do no background. We didn't do anything. We just went straight in. As a matter of fact, if I am not mistaken, I am almost positive that they said that there wasn't even any type of hearing. There was nothing. There was just a signing of the paperwork. That is very odd to me. And you cannot tell me that they didn't buy them, because nobody does that. And this is crazy diabolical. And whoever that person is that did this, they ought to be ashamed of themselves. And I ain't wishing no ill will to them or anything like that, but maybe I am secretly. But they know better. Know better, do better. That was wrong on every level. All y'all had to do was get his baby back to somebody. You could have dropped her off anywhere in a safe environment.
Listen, that's what they do. Drop them off at the firehouse. I mean,
Exactly.
if it ain't working out, there's options. You know what I mean? Tyra, was this judge on the payroll? And do you think this miscarriage of justice tied to Michael being able to get off of his charges down the road?
Absolutely. As far as like a payroll, I think people are just stupid. I don't think she had to work hard to, have her aged or anything. I think it was just a white privilege situation and her status and who she was, and them just taking her opinion verbatim. Well, if she said it and we're looking at it, and I don't know what licensed professional would act like we've never seen, hair on a smaller child. Like, these are the state. Like, there are certain levels to go through to determine whether someone is a child or an adult, whether they have a disability or not. But I think they just did. They just took her word for it. And I think she probably collected and had all these little nuances to her story. She fabricated it up. She made her the orphan. It's like, oh, we can't let this go down. We have to get her out of there. And then there was also, I guess, a way to go about it, because there were all these other ideas of just not giving her back or giving her up. And once you adopt her for however long until she's readopted, you're liable for her financially and her surgeries and other things, because she does have a disability, and you knew that going in. Probably didn't read nothing because it was a 24-hour adoption. And it's just like, well, yeah, there has to be a certain way that I finesse this to make it okay. Like, Michael couldn't get off if they brought that into fruition as evidence. The fact that they just like, we can't even say or reference her as a child or her age. And I was like, what kind of trial is this? The scenario was very strange. I couldn't believe it was happening. I was like, how can we just throw out the most important piece of evidence and say that this is at all fair? It's crazy. But yeah, I think that was there in favor of Michael. And if we had went in with the age and the documents and everything that had did, and the dentist and the records, there is no way that the both of them wouldn't be behind somebody's bars. But if you just get it, and it's just like, oh, this is just a case of neglect of what do they call a human being? Like, we can't even reference the child, the little girl. This is the neglect of a person, and you guys it was like, oh, bad adoptive parents. Everybody just go back home. I was like, what? How can we do this? If it was anybody else, the locks on the gate would have clicked. But just because it was him and maybe this little status and the way that the situation looked overall and what was used as evidence, he got off, free, and so did she.
Oh baby, yeah, they would have been on the row. Do you hear me? The Green Mile had it been anyone else, because there is absolutely no way this would go over. So now that they've successfully had the baby re-aged, okay, they decide that they are going to move her to Westfield. Now, I am an Indiana native. I'm a Hoosier by birth, okay? And Westfield is fine. These apartments were not. They keep acting like these were like, the Beanies apartments. These apartments were still hood, even though they are in an area with a fairly low crime rate. There's little hoodish areas everywhere, okay? Let's be very clear. But they said, no, we got her this apartment. She's old. She's old. She's grown. She's 22 years old. And Christine rehearses this baby and makes her say this to every adult. I'm 22 years old. I'm a grown woman and I'm dangerous. Hide your kids, hide your wife. Because I hurt people. I tried to unalive my parents. That's why I'm living in it was a script that this baby repeated to all of these people that she knew. Well, when she goes to the Westfield apartments, she carries on, I assume, like a child would. She's knocking on everybody's door. She's walking in everybody's house. If they got kids, she playing with the kids, rolling around in the dirt. It's really, really wild work. It's really wild work. The fact that they dropped her off at this apartment, they gave her some run over furniture, and basically said, all right, we'll be here every 2 weeks to drop off some groceries, make sure you ate something. But other than that, she's completely unsupervised. We find out that she has been in these naked men's apartments. They say that she's propositioning people. Granny Mae says that Natalia is the predator. Okay, these people ducking and dodging, trying to hide when they come home because they know as soon as they get home, Natalia is going to be at the dodo, and she's not going to knock. She's going to walk right in. Tyra, talk to me about these first apartments and the experience, because again, I thought Natalia was grown. The old lady said, yeah, I went to help her with her groceries, and she told me, lady, I'm 22 years old. I don't need my mother's help. I got this. And you can't tell Granny to this day that Natalia was a child at that time. Talk to me, Tyra.
Don't, because it's hard. It is hard. We know that Christine clearly did some despicable things to whip her into submission to the fact that nobody would ever question. It's like, children, not, oh, this is a 15-year-old trying to act 19. No, this 7 and 8. And nobody's antennas went off. I don't care what the hell Natalia said. You just know children. You know when someone is a child. That's why I'm like, did we just... Because they were acting like she was having full-blown conversations. It's no question to plenty of the people in this first... oh, that was a woman. Please, don't let her fool you. She's changing it up now. I'm like, what? So when you have reference of the next season, it's like, no, this was a child in these conditions. And then you can kind of write off every other scenario to where she was just going in as she pleased and saying off the wall things and maybe look to be inappropriate behavior with small children because she was a child. And what's wrong? We're just playing. And it's just like, well, no, this is a child. You're actually a 20-something. It's just really strange. I don't understand how nobody thought that this was. I'm like, was everybody in on it? Did they run all of you a check? Because the way that Granny was standing on business, even after I'm sure other information has been, she's like, absolutely not. If I see her, it's on site. Because what you're not gonna do is be up here with my grandchildren. You're pretending, you're lying. I was like, and then it's not even just her. It's it kind of felt like fear. With the other tenants, that family who lived across in the home, it's just like we just didn't. I was like, what?
They hiding.
They're hiding
behind the blinds. Close the blinds, lock the doors. Natalia's coming.
It was like Debo coming. I'm like, what? And there was this much fear behind a child. I don't know. This portion of the doc what made me question whether she was an adult or a child the most. Because it's one thing with this little family and their motives and their sick perspectives. We know that something is wrong with them, but it's like everybody in here has the opinion of, whew, oh my gosh, she's gone. We had to get her out of here. It had to be done. She had to go, and we're better for it now that she's kicked out of the apartment. So I'm like, well, damn. I honestly don't know what to think.
Those people were relieved, EJ. Do you hear me? When they said, oh, 3 complaints, they can evict her. Okay, let's see how we can get these complaints. They said they was calling up to that office on the regular, talking about, this is a problem. Like, so we find out about an incident with a young boy whose father catches her, and basically cusses her out and is like, stay away from my child. Again, it's so bizarre because, again, we hear the stories of her propositioning people, and it corroborates the story of the people in the mental institution that they put her in, which basically said that she was trying to sell it to the men in the facility, and they had to get her out the facility because it was becoming problematic. I mean, we have true accounts corroborating this type of behavior. However, when a child is introduced early to certain things, that's not irregular, right? If she's been abused in that way, and the trauma and just the anger I felt when I found out that she was really a baby on her own in these apartments, because that they don't have any awareness of danger, no situational awareness. Anything could have happened, and I think it plays out even in the Natalia that we meet present day. This baby has so many secrets, I'm sure. So much trauma, so many things that have probably happened to her, that risky behavior, that type of predatory behavior that she was exhibiting then isn't far-fetched. What do you think, EJ? And what did you think about this first apartment experience?
Yeah, that first apartment experience was wild work. The way that those people talked, and I'm not even gonna lie to you, this is probably the part that convinced me too. This convinced me the absolute most. I was like, oh yeah, she is definitely an adult. Why? What's one thing for Christine and Michael to be up here, saying what they saying, but it's a whole nother thing for you have all of these adult people that are willing to be on camera saying this, because the way I would never have been on camera if it was me, you would never have known that it was me, that especially after everything has kind of come out, like I would have never did that. But they're on camera saying that, literally, look at her, she's an adult. You know what I'm saying? Like this lady is like, she is in it. And Granny was upset. And then when they talk about the going into the house with the guy, and then you see Natalia, she don't really want to talk about this at all. Like, this is a subject she want to stay away from. And I'm just like, man, like, and then when you look at the second part of it, and then you go back and think about the first part of it, you're just like, well, all the trauma that she faced, of course she probably is exhibiting and saying a lot of things that she probably shouldn't say, but she doesn't know that she shouldn't say because she's probably been through so much, and she's just regurgitating at this point. Like, I was torn. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was torn. Every turn we went, I was torn. The people at the apartment, especially that one guy, I can't think what his name, he had me convinced. I was like, oh yeah, because he definitely looked like he ain't lying. Like, I'm analyzing if people are lying, if they're not, because Granny, I don't know. Granny, I don't know if she remember. I don't really know, because Granny is standing on business when she talks about it. But I was like, I don't know. Maybe she just got annoyed really easy. But then when you got the other people that were okay with her coming through, and then they're like, but then when they talk about the odors and stuff, I'm like, okay, well, she was a kid, so she probably didn't want to take a bath, stuff like that. I was like, so that lines up with her being a kid. Like, I'm going back and forth. Like, even as I get into the second half of this, and I know that she's a kid, I'm trying to figure out why all the behavior over here during this time, and why all these people believe, like all of them believe it. You're talking about complaint after complaint after complaint after complaint, and everybody is somewhere on the same page of this. You're talking about a parent who went ballistic because of whatever happened, because I still don't feel like they explained to us fully what it was. Like, y'all need to spell it out for me. Maybe I need y'all to just say what it was, because they didn't actually say exactly enough for me to know why this parent went ballistic. But whatever it was, it must have been enough, because when she tried to explain it away, she make it seem like they was just tickling. And I'm like, do that for some tickling.
No.
Well, no, it's tickle fight, but when it's from the other side, it's her unzipping pants and putting her hands where they shouldn't be. And I don't know. I think those are the moments where, because like I said, the memory is there and conveniently they're heavy when she wants it to be. I think those are the moments that she's suppressing, because any moment where she probably displayed any behavior, I feel like she has, because she's been through some things and been exposed to some stuff, then that's when I don't remember that. And the mental institution doing what? I did what? Yeah, I don't remember that. Who said that? I don't remember that. Oh, the man in the apartment? I don't remember that. Oh, the children and the boy? I don't remember that. You remember everything else, though, but I think she's choosing not to remember those distasteful moments of herself when she shouldn't, because there's clearly a trauma to be had, and you were a child, and there has to be a heavy trauma, because she was doing all these things, but nobody's taking into account, even if you did think she was a 20-something, these apartments want, accessible for her. So that's why there was an older, she couldn't probably, take care of herself, but the fact that nobody thought that they owed her any type of assistance or like just something. It was just, get this old heifer out of here. I was like, okay, this is terrible. But yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like Natalia did do some underhanded type of behaviors that warranted all of this pushback from these people. Like the phone call when she's like, well, I want to kill my neighbor. I'm going to harm them. Somebody needs to come do something. Like, come get me. And then these are like, which is crazy, like 8, 9 years old. Like, these are cries for help, but nobody saw that because they thought she was an adult.
Absolutely. And especially when you've been conditioned to say you're dangerous and that you already tried to take out other people, and you've been in an adult mental institution. Like, you've been around, like, you know what I mean? It's untenable, to be honest with you. And so after she gets evicted from this apartment, because then people put her out and said good riddance to bad rubbish, they decide that they are going to move to Canada, Michael and Christine, with their boys, and they're going to move her an hour away from where they even used to live, in this place called Lafayette. Now, I've been to Lafayette. I used to go to a church in Lafayette, okay? And Lafayette's not all bad. But when they go back to visit this place, they had put Natalia on a second floor. It was like a duplex. When I tell you the blickies rang out, they said, okay, we got to go. Like, it's the fact that you guys put her in a second floor apartment that's completely inaccessible, that she could have literally fallen down the stairs at any given moment. You didn't pay her electricity bill. Now, this is the one time I believed Michael, because he was like, she doesn't have electricity, calling Christine. And Christine's like, well, I think he at least would have given her the bare minimum as far as food, as far as electricity, a phone, something. But she was over there with nothing until she's knocking on people's doors asking for food. And this is when we see the emergence of the new family. Do either of you guys want to talk about the Lafayette apartment and her experience there? Because it's the hood, y'all. It's a hood.
I mean, it's not too far-fetched from, the experience there, but at least there was a sense of some community before it all went left. Here, she's just alone. She's just alone, and it's like, this didn't kill her. Let's move her to an even worse type of situation. I think they were, even though he just absolves himself, like, I'm not guilty. I just was there, or I at least tried. Yeah, you went along with it. There's no way in hell that Michael thought this entire time that they were just, I guess, doing their best to, even though we don't really need to help her if she's tricked us this entire time to think that she was actually a kid and she terrorized our family, but she does have a disability. The least we could do is give her some clothes and electricity and a place to stay. Yeah, but you guys were still receiving, these benefits and our food stamps and so all these other things. So that all of that, comes into question also. But yeah, I think that they were both in on it, and at this point, and that's why he's so loud and oh God, and just over the top with everything else. But when she asks something as simple as, whose idea was it to age me up? I gotta go. Just take it off. I don't know. Like what? No, anything he really, knows he took a heavy part in, or he like agreed to it, whether he knew it was wrong or not. He don't want to talk about that.
Not at all. Any comments on the Lafayette apartment, EJ, before we go on to these people?
The only comment I got is that we know something was wrong. Did y'all see that baby face? Did y'all see that baby face in that doggone? I said, now what in the ham sandwich? I'm just glad that it was some people who had comment, because she was going to an adult daycare center. Apparently, I still got questions, but that's all I got. I just didn't like the way
Baby,
her
when Michael
face looked.
said, well, she was in the best area possible. Her doctor was 2 minutes away. Her GED adult learning center was 5 minutes. There was a bus. Could she even get on the bus, Michael? Like, y'all didn't give her a wheelchair. And then we find out in season 2 that they haven't even done the surgeries that she's needed. I think she got one of the multiple surgeries that she literally should have had to even just be functioning and able to walk around. And this is how I felt. I felt like they both needed to go to the Pinta, right? Because one of the Lafayette police officers, we actually discovered that at this adult learning center, in addition to this being the introduction to the Mans and her neighbor below her, who's really outraged and got the blicky owner at all times, it appeared in this doc, the adult learning center calls the police and says, she's not able to take the GED test. Like, she is not comprehending anything. Like, this is not normal. And so the now sheriff, who I guess at that time was just a detective, decides he's going to take on this case. And he's like, oh, I smell a rat. And he actually is the one who takes the onus to go after Christine and Michael. And I honestly, in that moment, felt like they was going to jail. I said, oh, they going to jail. Christine was the mastermind, in my opinion. And they both honestly needed to be under the jail. But so we meet then the Man's family. We actually meet the mama man, okay? And somebody said it in the comments, the lady with the black scent, somebody called her Tina Marie. Accurate. I like Tina Marie. We can go there a little bit because we find out, again, Natalia hungry. Can you feed me? Feed me, Seymour. And she was like, baby, let me make you a sandwich. Next thing we know, Natalia done moved in with these people. They done got her food stamps. They done went to the office and said, listen, we need her benefits signed over. And so now she is in the Man's family with Tina Marie and Bishop and their 11 children. And seemingly a happy family. EJ, I'm gonna start with you. What did you think about the introduction of the Mans, Cynthia Mans, I believe, and the new Jackson 5? I mean, it's we in there. The barges, maybe. Yeah.
I had some thoughts, but I'm gonna leave them at the table. But yeah, I mean, nah, you don't want these thoughts. I'll tell you behind the scenes. But the wife, I was like, okay, like the first when they showed the clip of them, like they getting the food and she throwing up the peace sign, and then you see it. I said, what in the world? I said, this, whatever this is, this ain't right. I don't know what it is, but it's not right. I said, but I'm glad that she is in a safer situation. But I said this, I said, these people is up to something. They trying to get this money. I said, look at all them. Shut up, Eric. I said, they is not doing something right. That, you know what, just pass me, because what I want to say, I can't say.
Well, I thought it was kind of opportunistic. On the second season is when we're really introduced them, and I'm thinking he's trying to fill up that little 5-seater church. That's what I thought about the bishop, if I can be honest. I wasn't trusting much coming out of my mouth because it seemed very performative. Everything that we saw him do as far as engaging with Natalia, with Michael, with everything, it was like, bro, you overstepping. Tyra, what did you think of this new family? I mean, I'll say this. They saved her from being hungry. I don't know to what situation she's been in, but she's been with them now. They said it was like 7 or 8 years, right? So, I mean, what did you think? Did you think this was her forever family?
I'm never going to be mad at anybody showing Natalia some love, affection, getting as far away from those abusive settings as she can, because it's been a long road for her. But I'm not comfortable with these mans or that man or that woman. Not at all. Because at the end of the day, when any authorities were notified, it wasn't at your own hand. Y'all didn't call. If I I was in that much close proximity, saw the conditions, and she was left this way, and the eye looked black, and there wasn't any food, and there was an odor, and she could barely get up those steps. Let me take her in. Rightfully so, but I'm gonna do due process. It's not gonna be automatically. So yeah, what's up with that check? What's up with them food stamps? What's up? It's a sense of opportunity along with it, and I think that opportunistic outpour like rolls over the more we know about the family, especially when we get into him being all in the videos, all on the record, all in the doc the entire time. Yeah. I feel like it was put the money in the collection. It's over there. It's over there. He don't give he don't give that, but it gives I am giving the good word and using my ministry also as an opportunity to, fill some seats, maybe be seen, maybe get opportunities. And if I can help Natalia in the process and have her heal, because just with the optics of it, I would have preferred that the woman was there because she seemed to have a closer relationship with her, but with him being there, interrupting, interjecting, and trying to make his voice be known. It's like, baby, this is not about you. And it's like we're trying to make it about us because this is at this point with all of the things that have happened and how big the story. Natalia is a check, and I think she was a check in the first place, and she was a check now, because if she wasn't, y'all could have still did this due process. Like the fact that I don't know at what point she had been with them, that we had just got to the real like adoption process and changing the name and doing all these other things because they just automatically took her in. But why couldn't we do due process and also take her in so that it doesn't look like what it is? If you were that bothered, you would have made sure that she was okay. There was never going to be a moment where she could have those people named where they could come and claim and take her or do anything. Because I want you to be as far away from these people. After I prove my case, after we go to court, come on home, baby. They never did that. The teacher called.
Which is why I say something ain't right with them.
Absolutely. I mean, that's your first move to go and get her food.
And last but not least, I ain't gonna say it. No, like it's just, and it's something about it wasn't no black children to adopt.
Thank you. That's what I was about to say, but I was trying to leave it there. I'm
just saying, like, especially with the neighborhood that they're in, because it gives, I date black men. I'm surprised she had a little asymmetrical haircut. Everybody do what they need to do. But I was like, there isn't a black child in this home. I don't know. I don't like the optics of this situation.
Right with it. I'm telling you. And that's the first thing I noticed, but since we done brought it up, I'll go ahead and spill my tea now. I'll go ahead and say my piece.
We found eventually in there, in the rough.
I mean, that's the thing though. Like that part right there was like the biggest thing that just popped out and stood out to you. And you was like, something isn't right here. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that y'all are up to something and that y'all don't have good intent behind all of this. I believe that she's in a better situation. And I was so happy for that because Lord knows she needed to be in a better situation. But I felt like she was being manipulated in some sort of way. These people making her feel like, oh yes, we definitely are here for you. But they really was there for a check. That's all they ever, that's what she was to them, was a check. And he definitely wanted to be seen. He wanted that camera time. Every time you turned around, he was there. He was there. And something about that felt dominating to me. Like it felt like I'm here just to also make sure that whatever is going on here, you don't say what you don't like. What's
going on over here?
Exactly. Yeah. You could feel all of that. And it just felt so, I was like, something is not right about him. But yet he giving this Coke smile, that a Coke and a smile. And I'm just like, no, bruh, I don't trust you. I don't believe you. And where the children, everybody, all these children, it should have been a rainbow of children in there. I'm sorry. Should have been. Someone right.
I didn't know how many of them she had, if they were all adopted. I don't know any of that. Did they speak to any of it?
Yeah, they don't say too much about themselves. It's just Natalia and him walking around looking like a handler.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely what he gave.
And just to be clear, when I say that something was wrong, it's like Tyra said, they didn't go through the proper channels. If you have good intent, you go through the proper channels. good intent will always go through the proper channels, because you are not going to let this person that you say that you care about, that you want to be a part of, you're not going to let that slip through the cracks in any kind of way, form, or fashion. You're going to do what's supposed to be done. And it's not going to be the teacher calling. It's going to be me calling. The minute I see this, I'm calling. Like, no.
Because
But
we
no.
found out Christine and the mama got into it.
Getting
Christine
into
called
it
her
on the phone, and she just sound like if she was in her face, like she would try to really hurt her. It was despicable. It was we still didn't call anybody.
No, we didn't do nothing. So we still didn't do anything but what we did do was we went down there and got that check. That's what we did. And that part right there is what always irritates me and rubs me the wrong way, because it feels like y'all were just doing this for the wrong reasons and not for the right reasons. There may be some good in there somewhere, but I guarantee you it's more opportunistic than
Picture, Ashley, why? Because I hated this. I was like, did he want to be in the basement? Were there no
listen, because why you got him down there writing pie on the boards, on the marker boards? Jacob goes from TED Talks to a pink basement. And to me, this was just indicative of the parenting that they received from Christine and Michael, because there's no way. He was so prolific, baby. He touring the country, the nations, getting his master's degree from Purdue School of Science at 15, 14. And now you're in this cruddy basement with mold and mildew spores on the walls. In Michael's house. And how is Michael paying the bills? I don't know, because he's still driving. He got to sell off all his 1989 sports cars. He's only got the yellow Corvette now. So I don't know what's going on, but I know that Jacob is not in his right mind. This baby is traumatized. He has been through the most. And we find out that Christine made him involved and culpable in the abuse, because now is when everything kind of starts to come out about the other side of it, right? Where Christine, very violent, very abusive, allegedly, according to the claims from both Natalia and Michael. I mean, okay, first of all, if you understand the condition that Natalia has, you understand that, of course, they didn't get her all her surgery. So it's painful for her even to walk. Right? She's got these special prosthetic shoes that try to make that even. But the way they said that Christine would have her not planking, but standing up against a wall for hours, trying to make her admit that she's an adult. Like, you're going to tell me, and I mean, so much so, into the fact, trigger warning, guys, because this is abuse. But until she would soil herself and you would still make her stand there, you're having dinner with the family, laughing, Joe, we're going to have movie night, we're going to have candy, we're going to have popcorn. But not only that, we find out that she enlisted Jacob to literally piss all over Natalia's things in her room. Not only that, but Christine done kicked this baby down the stairs. Like, abuse, abuse, abuse. According to Michael, in his little rendition on the floor, pounding the floor down, he doesn't know how Natalia even made it while he's just watching. Because Michael just watched, because he was weak. He was an abused person as well, Tyra, according to him. But talk to me about Jacob, their parenting, and Christine kind of involving him in the abuse.
Child, that's why I have to give him that victim narrative. There's no way you could have protected, and you didn't even protect your own children. You didn't protect your own children. This narrative of I just had to let her just do it because she said I was never going to see my boys. But it's like, at what happened to where you didn't see your boys for umpteen years, and it's like they just disappeared, and he couldn't. Was there any due process? Did you try to seek out your children? Did you just, okay, well, she painted this narrative of me. They won't speak to me now because I'm the angry husband who said they're going to kill them. So now I haven't seen them until now when he called me dad, and I just, shut up, Michael. Shut up, please. Like,
what is he going to call you, Michael? Like, what is he going to call you, bum?
I think I don't, that's why I'm saying Michael isn't all there. I think she saw an opportunity to control, like we said, a lot of his tendencies and qualities can be quite feminine. Very, very, in the way that he presents himself. And it's like, well, yeah, I'm not only going to take this man, but I'm going to, have children with this man and this, that. And like, clearly this just wasn't that. But the condition that this son here is left in, the only one that's talking to him, and he's finally like trying to come into his own and maybe see his mother for exactly who she is, but he's still scared. He's still scared, not only like traumatized, but he's like, he's still trying to save her image. Even though, baby, the mic was on. We heard you, baby. We heard you. The mic was on. He's like, some things I don't want to, like, all of these children were traumatized. And I'm like, you didn't protect yourself. You didn't protect your own children. You definitely you weren't going to, do anything for Natalia. But it's like, even at this moment, what processes are any of you guys doing to heal? This was sad. This was very, very sad. Michael needs to pay and Christine needs to pay. Nobody was protected here. And just to see the state that he's left in and just, I don't know. It's just truly disappointing. I wanted to hear from those other boys so bad.
Me too.
I wanted to hear from everybody, because if it's just like, if you had him do these things and had him participate, everybody was participating. Everybody.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a sick thing. And I don't think, Michael was just, all I did was get off work. I don't know. No, you knew. You knew. You weren't in the position to do anything because you were in fear, but you knew. Stop acting like you was on the clock 24/7.
We know he wasn't. We know. And he's not as feeble as he claims. He can get loud because apparently there were DV issues on his side from before.
All those things. There's been things. And even that, I think he also he act like he would drink Christine's bathwater. She was withholding the sex. I needed the sex. Like, I think all of those things. He liked the optics, and it feels like Christine was like, oh, I got who ain't get Christine? Because I did. Like, it was also that for him. He was infatuated to where he clearly allowed her to do things in the way that she wanted, probably participated in some, but now you want to just be completely hands off and uninvolved because she was a monster and I was a victim too. But yeah, you also participated and you also knew and you didn't do nothing.
Absolutely. Yep. And it was your responsibility to protect Natalia for all intents and purposes, and your other children. That was your responsibility, sir. EJ?
Exactly. No, wholeheartedly agree. It was his responsibility to protect them all. He's supposed to be the man of the family, right? You're supposed to be the protector, the person that is supposed to make sure your household is safe. And you didn't protect anybody, and yet you kept going on and on about we were all abused. I'm sorry. That one right there just got me every single time. We were all abused. It was crazy. But I'm just like, dude, let's not go that far. Do I feel like Christine did a lot? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, any human being, even at some point, especially after, like, at some point you gotta be like, no, this is not what we're gonna do. Like, no, like, you gotta put your foot down at some point and just say no. Even if it's not for Natalia, what about for your boys? What about for them? Like, for your blood, because I know how people get caught up in blood. So what about for them? Because these boys are traumatized as well, like, completely. You had a genius. I mean, we know that there were some things that were fudged, but they did confirm that he really was a genius. Even though she probably didn't have to fudge some of that stuff, she just did it because she needed it. She didn't want to put in the work. But this boy was a genius, and look at him. Look at where he is. Look at how he's having to still protect lies, protect all of these different things, still trying to protect his mom in some way, form, or fashion. And just look at him. Like, geez, Louise. I was like, oh my God, this was a genius kid. He had his whole life ahead of him, like, just so many possibilities. And now now his life is just kind of in the tank because of his mom and because his dad didn't stand up for him and didn't respect him. Like,
he's not okay. Like,
he's not okay. Yeah, he's not okay at all. And then we have, I want to say David at this point, but then we have Michael.
I'm sorry, y'all. His name is Michael. It's okay. David. I wanted to name this man David. I wanted to give him a new name.
I was like, his name must be Michael David, and they must have said his middle name.
Girl,
But
no.
then we have him who, you know, who just keep trying to justify everything. And you're right, he should be institutionalized because this man is a sick person. He is a sick individual as well. I could never stand by and watch other people harm someone else and not do anything about it. In my own house, I would never do that. I don't give a darn about all the sex as they put down. I don't even know about any of that, whether she was put down at this point. And then we come to find out she been doing
AJ, what happened to your sound? Your sound just went out for no reason.
Girl.
There it goes.
Oh, okay. There we go. Girl, okay. Listen, I feel like okay, but when it's all said and done, Christine is not worth all of this. Maybe I just don't feel like she's worth all of this. She's not worth losing your humanity. She's not worth just losing that compassion that people feel as a human being. I couldn't see a stranger be done like this and not be compelled to say something. Am I gonna go in and like snatch up the person? Probably not, but I'm definitely gonna call them people. Yo, look, we got a situation over here. Y'all need to come help. Y'all need to come do something. If you see something, say something. Everybody knows that. And Michael acted like he had no accountability and he never wanted to take accountability. And that was my problem with him, is that you still have accountability because you are an accessory to all of this at the end of the day.
Listen,
point blank and period.
I knew that Michael was unhinged in two parts. The first one, I mean, definitely. But when he directed the camera, okay, I need you to turn the camera here. I'm about and scene. I knew, okay, that was one. And then the second one was when he said he turned over his parental rights for that dry wolf coot nanny. I knew he couldn't have been normal in his mind.
Girl, him punching the floor did it for me. I said, get Jacob out of there, okay? Get Jacob out of there.
He's unwell.
Girl, get them some help. And everybody's just very like hands off and has this sensitivity to such a serious issue. Even his family's just she just ruined him, made him a shell of himself, and he was forget what is going on. I don't know where these people found each other. I really don't.
His mama was culpable, I think, because you made him, because Christine put his mama out the house. But yeah, no, he needs to be under somewhere. Michael's not okay. And so now he's on trial and we find out that their trials have been split. Christine will be on trial by herself because she's divorced this man, took the money, took the mansion, took her sons and moved to Canada. He's down here broke. He said he had 32 cents in the bank account. Which is why I'm struggling to find out how he had this attorney, this expensive attorney, because that man wasn't working for free. And so he goes through his trial and, he's acting it up. The lawyers are directing him. He seems like he was almost relishing it. When it's all said and done, he's found not guilty of child neglect charges. Christine's case is completely dismissed, so she doesn't even have a day in court. And he says, the jury just knew I was innocent immediately. They didn't even deliberate long. We hear from the jurors and they're like, no, they didn't tell us stuff. If we knew her real age, we would have never let Michael off. Oh, this seems like a miscarriage of justice. Tyra, talk to me about the outcome of the case. And Christine not even having to face anything. Her lawyer came and did depositions, but that was it.
This was scary. That anybody could get away with something like this is truly terrifying. Michael was scared of going to prison, being somebody's bottom, because he knew he did something. He knew he did something. He knew he participated. That's why that lawyer was so like, focus. We're serious now. Reel it in. I need you to know that if we don't handle this case accordingly, you will go to jail. Like, be serious. Pull that back. Reel that in. Okay, give a little bit more of that. Give a little bit, like the performativeness of it all. Like, he maybe didn't spearhead everything, and it was more so Christine, but you were definitely involved. And he was nervous, and oh my God, and I could just, because you were nervous because you knew you deserved to be in jail.
He did.
He was scared because that was definitely a possibility. But that one thing that they was able to leave out, which is just crazy, we can't say that this was a child. What? How? And the fact that she didn't,
your daughter, that's it.
child, she didn't even have to appear. It was just instantly dismissed. Why? Why? Like, this is a grave injustice, and the both of them should be in jail. I don't care what antics, how many floors Michael punches, walls, anything he cultivates in his mind. And Christine just feeling like I don't even have to dignify any of these things with an answer. Y'all not get me in this doc or on anything else. These people are sick and they need to go to jail.
I agree.
Absolutely. And a ton of it, of course, I agree, Vic. In my opinion, they got away with it because the courts didn't want to be held responsible for re-aging her and putting through her this with that.
Why though? Just disbar that doctor and that judge and move on with it. Like, why would we go through this? Was this judge of some type of that status to where we just like, oh no, we just gonna act like
Indiana. That's
Indiana. You know how people are. Like, I mean, they're not going to taint. If you know what they say, one bad apple spoils a bunch. They're not gonna do that. They're not gonna taint the collect. They're not gonna taint everybody. We just gotta have to let this one gonna have to ride some kind of way, because there's no kind of way that you're telling me that they were able to get that main important thing. That is so important. If you take away that part, but it all leads back to that judge who didn't do their due diligence in re-aging this child. Like, it all goes back to that. And if you go back to that and we're all pointing fingers, because at the end of the day, they're going to point the finger and say, well, it was the doctor who said this. And that's the reason why we thought it, because the doctor said this. And then I gave this to the judge because the doctor said this. We just went along with it because it's a medical, like, it's all going to keep going back to these other professionals that gave these professional opinions. And now it's everybody else's fault. So no, they don't want to admit their mistake. So we're going to leave that part out, because I feel like if you take that part and put it back in there, I feel like you got civil suits against the government, all these people. Like, I feel like you got some straight up, like, I feel like it's a much bigger kaboom than just that one little part, than just these two going to jail. I feel like you opened up Pandora's box, and that's what they were trying to keep closed.
Oh yeah, and that's what I feel a lot about the Bishop Nim in season 2. Like, they were very strategic. Even when she and Michael had that sit down, it was like, ask him this, ask him about this. I think they wanted to get evidence recorded so that they could file a civil suit, which I'm not mad at. I'm mad at the fact if they were to profit off of it, y'all. And so, of course, when we'll keep going because that's not the adoption. Next, we have Natalia's side, right? And this is the part 2, season 2, Natalia Speaks. But you guys, I'm going to give you a quick break, honey, because we've been in here. We've been in these streets. Shout out to the 70-some people who are in the building. Thank y'all for being here. Thank you for popping up to talk Natalia Grace. When we get back, we are going to get in the second side of this. Enjoy this little mini recap.
You're going to get the truth.
We'll be right back.
I will pre-warn you. You're going to get the truth. You might not like the truth. We were in a very tight-knit family. April 26th, 2010, that's the day that we adopted Natalia. We had no idea what we were dealing.
She was an adult. You could just tell. I'm like, whoa.
Sons, I definitely didn't feel safe around Natalia.
You've adopted a kid and now they're trying to kill you. I mean, it's the stuff of a horror movie.
With a knife in her hand.
She's tiny. There's more than one villain in this story. Michael accuses Christine of beating Natalia.
My mom is definitely not 100% innocent.
Just when you think you have it solved, you find out you don't.
We were all abused! We were all abused! We were all abused! I hate this.
Well, kicking down the stairs, we said we're not going to say, right? Oh, still my microphone on.
Buckle up.
Something ain't right with Natalia. This girl is tweaking. If she would answer us, we have held her hostage. Made us look like we're the enemy.
Natalia stabbing her family in the back over at his police side.
This season, Natalia tells her side of the story.
I want you to know how old I am. I want you to know about my past because I want to know too.
Sorry.
About my past because I want to know.
Are you sorry about what she did to me?
I am horrified by what she has done to you. I am horrified by what she has done to you.
Child, he horrified by what she did to you, but you let the heifer do it to her. I mean, let's just be honest. Now we are back to talk about Natalia's side, honey. And so in the first season, we don't hear from Natalia really. And so now this is our first real introduction to present day Natalia, who I believe is 18 or 19 now. Again, she still can't remember her year of birth because she still thinks it's 1989. So, and it's really 2003, which is insane. Again, she says she was a child the whole time, but again, still very problematic in my opinion. And again, I just think it's based on the abuse that she's endured, but definitely still think that Natalia is not an innocent. And I do think that she has caused harm to others based on the experiences that we hear about. In season 2, we do get the dental records, we get DNA, everything to substantiate that she was in fact born in 2003. We actually meet her mother in Ukraine as well, who, you know, basically they do the DNA with her, match it, and find out that Natalia was in fact born in 2003. There is no way on God's green earth that she was born in 1989. Tyra, as we get into the beginning of season 2, Natalia Speaks. Did you, I mean, because again, you were still wavering a little bit at this time. Like, is this heifer really grown or is she a child? Now that it's confirmed, is Natalia still problematic at the end of the day?
There is something truly ominous about Natalia, unfortunately. I think it's due to things out of her control, treatment that she's had to go through. This Natalia, she wants some justice. She wants somebody to pay. She wants people to acknowledge what they did. Why didn't they stop anything? Why didn't they question anything? And she's very observant about how things occurred, when they occurred, what time. But there's also, when we get into the other families, she got passed through so many people, and everyone has a difference in opinion. Some people are completely one-sided because they were maybe excited at the aspect of getting her and didn't really spend any time with her, but they kind of see her with these rose tinted glasses. But because, you know, we suffer, you know, from the same condition, and, you know, I know, you know, my people, she isn't capable of these things, and we're kind of just excusing everything because of her stature and her disability. And then you have other people that is just like, yep, I just felt something on me told me to leave her there, because this wasn't, people were, you know, maybe lying, of course, making up other things, and these just certain things didn't add up. And then you get into these interactions, and they just kind of fly through these families. Oh, well, you know, she was here, and then they sent her back, and then she was there, they sent her back, and this adoption fell through, and we could, it just, something is unnatural about it. Something is unnatural about it. I'm here for Natalia and her justice and her having her own side, voice, and opinion, and wanting people to pay for what they did to her. But I am not under the impression that she didn't do anything, whether she was 9, 10, or not. She's done some things.
Amen. And without help, I don't think that that behavior of harming, and the common theme, you guys, if you watched both seasons, was that there are children harmed by Natalia. I mean, there's really no denying it. There's so many different instances over and all. And like Tyra said, the memories are so convenient. Natalia remembers everything terrible that happened to her, but can never place herself in these moments where other things were done to others. You know what I mean? EJ, what do you think about Natalia's side? And is she still problematic for you?
Absolutely still problematic for me. While I did feel for Natalia, because at this point now I'm convinced, because we got medical proof, right, that she is a child. Now I'm feeling bad because of how I felt watching that first season, right? So I'm kind of digressing. But at the same time, now I'm going back and playing everything back in my head about everything that was said, but doing it from a different thought process, right? So like I said, while I feel for her, I still believe that she did stuff. I can't tell, I can't put my finger on it, but something, I feel like there is something wrong with her. Maybe there is like I don't know what it is, y'all, but I feel like there may be two sides to Natalia. I feel like you get a certain one, and then, but there is another one that exists. It was even in some of these pictures that we saw. I just felt like her face
EJ, your mic's going out again.
Oh, okay. Did it go out? Am I back?
Mm-mm.
Oh, no,
Nah,
it's
it's
gone
completely gone.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I felt like there was something that was happening. Like I felt like there were just two different sides to her. Even when she speaks at times, she'll go back and she'll say, "Well, maybe I did do this, but because of this." So now you're acknowledging that some of these things did happen, but there was a reasoning for these things happening. I just think that at some point people can only face so much trauma to the point where they start becoming a problem themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Whether it's meant to be or not, I feel like she did it, and it is what it is. But it maybe she didn't mean to per se, but it happened, and I don't think you can take that part away. I think that she hurt some of these kids.
Yeah, hurt people. And I didn't hear, maybe y'all heard it. I didn't hear one time that she's been in intensive outpatient treatment or some sort of therapy that's age appropriate or working with a counselor, therapist, psychologist, none of it.
None of them. She was getting them hands laid on her by the man.
I was gonna say the bishop was putting them hands on her, so that was what it was.
She delivered.
She delivered. New family influence, but something in the milk ain't clean. You're not gonna, and I've been around church people my whole life, and I smelled something when I saw this. I said, is it a money grab? Is it notoriety? Because as we progress through season 2, we are gonna see the bishop on multiple occasions. And she's acquiescing. And this Natalia that we're getting is very docile, is very submissive. Like, oh, my daddy doesn't like that. Oh, we're going to pray. We're moving this way because I just want to be the best person that I can. And she's on a campaign for retribution at this point. Y'all need to pay and I need answers. And so ultimately we have a sit down with she and Michael. Okay. And Bishop running this meeting. The producer's not running it. Okay. Michael's not running it. And Natalia's not running it either. The bishop is running this because Michael come in there. Right. He got his pork chop sideburns, hat to the back. He was bumping his rock music in his 1980s Corvette. Okay. And he gets in there and he's cussing because I don't know what the happened in this mother, and Natalia with her bishop looking over her shoulder says, could you not cuss, Michael? Well, I don't know. I'll try my best. Well, you need to do better than try, Michael. Because we don't allow the devil in my house.
This ain't your house. This ain't your house.
I said, is this an Airbnb? Tyra said, is that his house? I said, no, baby, this is an Airbnb.
Yep, was not his house.
And so basically, Michael says, let's take the mic off because he's good for that. Take the mic off. I can't do this. I'm not doing it. Bishop like, no, he need to be a man. He ain't the one that had to stand up against walls and be abused. And no, he ain't. I'm going to talk to him man to man. Sir, you don't run anything. You don't run a thing, but the meeting is thwarted, the first one. We have to do all this again, come back, and finally we get to talk. Let's chop this in half, though. EJ, talk to me about this meeting and talk to me about the bishop and Michael's fight or flight response, because he was out of there.
Listen, I ain't even gonna lie. I about fell out when Michael got up out of there. I said, "Oh, okay, Michael. Well, I ain't mad. It's the way he drove off for me. It was so much theatrics and dramatics behind this." Michael said, "Look, what we not gonna do is come at me like this, okay, Bishop?" And Bishop was like, "Listen, if I get over there close enough to him, I'm gonna lay hands on him for real, because it's like he been wanting to do it for the longest." And it really felt, everything about this felt so staged and so performed, and I'm just like, what are we doing exactly? Can you just stay over there in your corner and let them talk this out? Because I want to know what's going on. But we couldn't get there because Bishop had to be in control. And then that let me know a lot I needed to know about Bishop right there, because I'm telling you, something ain't right about Bishop. Something ain't right. But yeah, Michael in this red hat,
I don't know what he had going on. He was
Michael.
Girl.
Tyra, talk about it. Talk about, was it gonna be a fight? I mean, was the bishop finna throw hands?
I was gonna say Michael wasn't fighting nobody. What you talking about? Michael said, "See, I told you, I tried. No, take this off." He snatched that lady, like, "Get your coat, get up. We're getting out of here. Like, let's go. I'm not dealing with this." Like, this was a waste of time. All this my house, like. I don't know why the bishop would show all his cards this soon. Like, regardless of how you feel, because a lot of it can come off as, you know, a father figure. You naturally want to protect your children, but this wasn't about you. You already have to handle Michael with kid gloves to get him to sit down here in the first place. Don't give him a reason or an out to not be in here and be accountable for what he did. Even if he's going to gloss over things, even if he's going to lie, even though he's going to yell and cry and throw a fit and do these things. This is about her. She wanted to sit down here with him because she wants answers that she can't get from the man's. Say a little piece and sit down and be in the corner. But the fact that he made this whole situation all about him, I was like, Natalia, get away from these people.
Run.
Get away from these people. I don't know where she's going, but get away from these people. And the fact that she's been with the bishop and been with, you know, the wife for this long, it just makes me question what she's experienced. And just like all the other people who maybe saw her as an opportunity for money, what did you guys allow to go on in your house with your own children? Because we can say Michael does lie and omit, but he's told the truth about a lot of things. Did she display some of these behaviors in your home and you just let them slide because this is an opportunity for all of us? So she didn't mean it, or she just needs some counseling and just excuse stuff. Meanwhile, the other children in your care are being abused. Like, I want to know. But this wasn't his time to be standing on his pulpit.
It sure wasn't. And so, of course, in this session, Natalia is asking, you know, the hard questions. Did you know she did X, Y, or Z to me? Are you sorry for what she did to me? Can you tell me whose decision it was to re-age me? She's asking key questions, I think, that would build a case against them if he decided to answer. Of course, his attorney is in the background, and the attorney then told us, listen, I know Natalia. I did my research, baby. And quiet as is kept, the man's filed a report against Natalia, wanted her out of their house when they found out something happened to a child that they had. All right. Tyra, talk to me about his refusal to answer his, you know, the past history that the lawyer is privy to. And then finally, Natalia laying hands on Michael. Was that sincere?
Yeah. I don't, girl, you don't get your ass up. There is such a performative quality between Michael and Natalia. Natalia, the both of them are here. Natalia is here for justice and for people to be accountable, but Natalia also wants a check. She wants to be paid. She wants to be compensated, and so does those men. So due to that, there is just this air of I'm asking certain questions in a certain way and hoping that you maybe reveal some things that I can use in my favor. And then it's just like really lawyery, very staged, very, well, you know, I did not have sexual relations with that woman type answers. Like, sir, we don't want that. Nobody came here to be completely transparent, completely honest. Though she is deserving of an explanation of questions, she's never going to get that from Michael. Michael's one focus, even though I just want everybody to move on and be great. No, he wants to remain in this state of victimhood. And for him to be recognized as anything but an abuser or a participator, he wants that to happen. And he also, you know, he wants to roll around in his little red Corvette and live in this little fantasy of maybe what life used to be. But it's never going to be a moment where he says the complete, utter, and total truth. So it's just kind of like a waste of time. And even with, you know, Natalia, I'm like, these people need help. There was nothing sincere about this between either one of them. I didn't believe none of this crap. I was like, can we just get out of here? Because this just feels very uncomfortable and very staged. And the help that you guys really need, you're not going to get it between each other or from that bishop over there.
Not at all. EJ?
It's same. I felt like it was, first of all, I felt like from Natalia's perspective, yes, she wants justice. Yes, she wanted answers, but I felt like she wanted answers for a very specific reason. The first thing I thought about was, oh, she trying to catch you up, Michael. You better be careful about what you say. You better be careful how you say it, because, Michael done worked hard to stay out and to be a victim. Michael done put in a lot of work and time and money to be a victim and to make sure that everybody knows that it was Christine and that we were all abused. I'm saying, like, he did a lot. Okay? So if he did all of that, you cannot unravel all of that in this one conversation. You know what I'm saying? So Michael is going to come in there with his guards up automatically. You're asking these very specific strategic questions because you want to catch Michael up and get him to say what you need him to say so that you can move to the next phase. And I feel like this was all, I don't think that this was Natalia. I think this was, the mans. I think they were like, listen, this what we gonna get justice for you, baby girl. We gonna get this justice for you, Natalia, because that's what we gonna do. Okay, he gonna have to pay for this. Okay, so this what you gonna do. And I feel like that's how that conversation went, a little something like that. Does she want to be compensated and feel like she's being made, like she can't ever make her whole, but you know what I'm saying, like pain and suffering, all of this type of stuff? Yes, but I don't think that it was her initial idea or plan. I think that this was a plan that was initiated by them, and none of this stuff felt real. And when she got over here laying hands and praying, I said, everybody can't pray over me. Nope. No, thank you. Because I know it's some
power. She ain't got no
no,
power.
no, ma'am. She got to do a lot of therapy and a lot of work on herself. And I don't think that this child has gotten the help that she truly needs when it's all said and done. Like you said, somebody said, one of y'all said, we ain't hear one time where they said that she was in therapy, that she was getting help and all that type. We never heard any of that. It's almost like the bishop think that he can just pray all this stuff away. And this girl has been through way too much trauma for you to just and listen, I have faith. I am very religious, all of that. But this is extreme trauma, and it would be for them. I feel like they should be pushing her to get the help that she needs and not just trying to pray it away, because at the end of the day, she needs more than just the prayer. She needs some serious actions, and she needs somebody to sit down with that is not part of the story. She needs somebody that is outside of the story that can really sit down and help her compartmentalize, realize what has actually happened. The girl don't even want to talk about the real stuff that has actually happened to her. She don't even want to unlock that box. And I'm sorry, I don't remember what I did at 6, 7, 8, 9, but you remember a man standing over you at the age of like 3, 4, 5 or something. Like, she need help. She need help. And these two right here, oh yeah.
And I love the Lord, but I mean, you can have Jesus and you can have therapy too. It's perfectly fine. I promise you.
Exactly.
And so now we are at the point of adult adoption. But why? The baby done already lived with you for 10, 15, however many years. She's an adult now. Now you want to do the adoption. And again, EJ, that's going to feed into that idea that we all have, which is, okay, they're going to try to get a settlement and they want to be your power of attorney. Because at the end of the day, you're still disabled. They still want to manage them benefits. And if you are subject to any check, I think they want a hand in it. I don't know. I didn't get the warm and fuzzies, Tyra. Did you get the warm and fuzzies for this adult adoption?
I didn't get it from the beginning when they took her in the first place. Like, it just never gave that. Like I said, this is an extended opportunity. And all of these, the way he was working overtime to be on TV. The way he was working overtime just to be in the frame in the camera and to me take a knee. Well, you know what? Get your ass out the camera. We didn't ask you nothing. We didn't need you there, sir. This is all just a moment for them to try to capitalize on all things extended with Natalia. Whether we get a payout or a settlement or a check from that, whether it's a deal, a brand deal, a book deal, or whatever. Like, we want to be a part of it. And what better way to be a part of it if we adopt her now? Why now? What's so special about now? And she's just basking in it, like, oh, I've been a man, and I'm just so happy to be a man, and I'm just, oh, let's go. Oh, please. So y'all go to hell.
EJ, I know you said a little bit, but any thoughts on the adult adoption and anything to add to that?
Listen, this was ridiculous. I said, what are we doing? I was like, at this point, she done been an adult all her life. Why are we adopting her at this point? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's really no there's no point in this. And it just always read money grab to me or something. Or, possibly, I guess they want to be, what was that show? My wife and 11 kids or some all them darn kids they had. I don't know. Maybe that's what y'all trying to do. Yeah, maybe y'all trying to pull off one of these type of situations where y'all can, get y'all own reality. Maybe he practicing for his own reality show. Like, I don't know. But at this point, it was very insincere to me. It didn't make any sense. The only thing I was like, well, she seemed like she happy. So if she happy, I guess. But I see through all of that. I don't trust them at all. And at the same time, we back to the same thing again. We adopted and we doing all of these things, but we are not getting this person. We're not getting her any help. But the only thing that we're doing, like the same way we didn't call nobody when we saw something, we didn't call nobody, but now we going straight to adoption. And if we do that, guess what? Now we are the legal guardians of a person that is disabled, and anything that subsequently comes to her is going to come to us. It just it just was all the wrong reasons. They took something that could have been special if it was real and true and genuine, and just made it into something that was just nasty work. And I was like, ugh.
And so as we wind up, honey, if you didn't watch them last 2 minutes of season 2, then you missed out, okay? Because this was the last 2 minutes. And I mean, look at Natalia. Natalia don't even look like the same Natalia. This is Natalia that's been on the inside the whole time.
Dresses.
Baby, she got her gothic. She got her leather jacket, her black eyeliner, honey. She got the side ponytail. Listen. Natalia said, oh, what you going through? And so basically we find out that 6 months after the official adult adoption of Natalia, the man's talking to the producers like, Natalia is tweaking. She's turning on her family. She's doing this. She's done a lot of stuff. Okay. We ain't tell y'all everything she did, but she did a lot of stuff.
Now.
This is a new low. I said, Bishop, what's the new low, you guys? And so I'm going to play something really quick. And this is going to be the preview part of the trailer for Monday night's episode, the final chapters. Okay. And I want y'all to watch this first, and then we will come back and talk about why Natalia was tweaking.
Hi, Bishop.
How are you? We got a situation. Something ain't right with Natalia. He got this dude online. He turned her against us. She's ready to go to hell with gasoline panties on.
Antoine, know how to silence people.
Behind.
Know how to silence people.
Behind.
Hi, Bishop.
How are you? We got a situation. Something ain't right with Natalia. He got this dude online. He turned her against us. She's ready to go to hell with gasoline panties on.
Antoine, know how to silence people. Antoine, know how to silence people.
Now listen, they said Antoine and India know how to silence people. All right. Basically, if you watch the full trailer, and I will link it somewhere in the description, you'll find out that they say that Cynthia and Bishop got a cult over there. And once you in, you can't get out. And that Natalia got a man online. And this man is the one who turned her against them. Okay. And so now again, she's making accusations about this being a cult, and they won't let her leave. And there's all sorts of stuff around this. Tyra, talk to me about Natalia tweaking and what your thoughts are upon learning this a little bit of new information.
It's too much. Will it ever end? It's just sad to see Natalia exchanging hands from one problematic situation to another. And just as they're stating like, oh, we experienced some things and we didn't know. Don't share it now. Y'all didn't want to share it when we were trying to paint everything to be, sunflower dresses in these previous docs. So now that she's changed, left and took whatever little money bag could have been a money bag with her, she tweaking now. No, she didn't tweaking forever. She's been, off forever. Like, I didn't like how we just had that baby. Like, I ain't supposed to say nothing, but she hurt me, and like you can just tell that they have just talked and prayed all types of behavior and excused things that Natalia has done, just waiting for situations to maybe work out in their favor. Like, and now she, it's very easy for Natalia to be influenced, because at the end of the day, it seems like she's looking for acceptance and love, and genuine acceptance and love. And if at any moment after that adoption, I don't know if they got more heavy-handed with the idea of how she needed to pursue Christine and Michael, or the case or whatever, and maybe it just became a bit too much, and then she meets somebody and you get things from a second perspective, and it's like, well, yeah, that I am kind of being used, or I am, or this, and now she's tweaking and she wants to get away. I have learned with Natalia in these docs, I'm not taking nothing for face value. Everything could be, nothing is ever like what it seems or what it looks like. So I don't know. I don't know if this is going to be the last part of that. Who knows what's the last? Because this story is very ongoing. But I can't, be surprised if she got all the way to this point and had a revelation. Like, but this all black situation, this was hilarious.
I said these producers are villainous. They are truly in their villain era.
I'm trying not to laugh because I don't want to seem insensitive. But when they did that, I said, "Oh, that's diabolical." I said, "No, they do that with the black jacket and the black." I said, "Oh, okay, here we go." Okay, so here's the thing, y'all. I don't know nothing at this point. Everything that I thought I knew, I don't know no more. Like, every time I get here where I'm convinced that I'm like, okay, this is this, then I'm starting to get unconvinced. Honestly, I don't even know how I feel about the Mans no more, or Natalia. Like, I know that she went through something, but I think she is forever changed in whatever sense that is. And I also feel like there's this side of me that's like, okay, well, a normal progression of growing up is going into that bad boy phase and going into that phase where a boy can say anything and you and your mama can't say nothing, because whatever she said, don't nobody care what she said because she wrong. But the boy, whatever he say, he right. I mean, I feel like there's this phase that people go through at some point in life. And I feel like Natalia is behind in every phase of life, right? So I feel like there's a point where she could be manipulated if someone is offering her this, I love you, I want to be with you, I want to, you know what I'm saying? Especially, I mean, we know that she advanced because she's experienced a lot of things. And now she's looking for that love side of it. I want somebody to love me. I want somebody to care about me. So what if this is this guy trying to turn her against the man? We know what the Mans want. Like, we know what they want, point blank and period. But what we can't say is that they have not taken care of her, that they didn't take her in and feed her and make sure that she had accessibility and did all, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't say that they didn't do that, because they did do that, right? So I'm just like in a teeter-totter now. Like, okay, on one point, I think that maybe this guy might be influencing her. And on the other point, I think that the Mans feel like they're losing control. And at this point, y'all, this is already happening, but you just didn't want to talk about it then because you needed to make it seem like, for the purposes of your lawsuit, can't tell me no different, for the purposes of your lawsuit, it needed to be like, Natalia never held a knife on me. I believe very well that Natalia probably held a knife on y'all somewhere. Like, you just can't tell me that she did not do something that made y'all have like red flags. There's a reason why you said that she could never come back here again. It's the second time you said that. The second time. But you conveniently let that fly under the radar because you thought you were about to get this big lawsuit, this big civil suit, and y'all were about to cash in on it. And now that Natalia is stepping out and possibly gonna go over here with this other person who I don't want to say is using her, but I feel like I don't know that person. I just feel like at the end of the day, that there is some truth going to be on both sides, and that two things are going to be true. But when it's all said and done, the man's, why do we want to hear about your story now? When you could have told the truth in this documentary about what was happening, and y'all should have got that child some help before she went too far. She need real help, and she might need to be institutionalized. I don't know. She could be a danger to herself and others. I don't know at this point, but I need to know what she did. I need to know what she did that first family and what she did in y'all house, because she did something. That little girl was scared. She was like, I don't know if I should say it, but I thought she said beat me, but you said pinch me. I thought she said
I think she said pinch. It was a pinch, is what I feel like. But then there was also another family, right? The first two adopted families in the U.S. She did something to them kids, and so finally, I want to know from you guys, who is the villain? At this point, everybody a villain until I'm proven wrong. Everybody, the Mans, Natalia, the Christine, them first set of adopted people. I don't know. Everybody, villainy runs amok, in my opinion. EJ, who is the villain in all this?
every last single one of them, all of them, from the very beginning to the very end, including Natalia. They all villains, all of them. But I just feel like they created her and turned her into one. That all the things that led up to this, and even before Christine and Michael, I feel like we have these other families. Like, if we had have just said something right then, whatever happened in that first household, if we had have said something, maybe we could have got this child in a place where she could have gotten some help, instead of getting her to a Christine and a Michael that would then further traumatize her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like everybody has some culpability somewhere, but nobody wants to take accountability for it. And it's just irritating. So all of them are villains. And I'm sorry, Natalia is in her villain era as well, unfortunately.
Tyra?
Child, I'm not sorry. That's a villain, child. The way they zoomed out in that last shot, I was like, oh, y'all ain't have to zoom out like that.
Music. I said, y'all are petty.
She's sitting there scolding with her leather jacket on and the boots that's black and leather by default. I say, why are we doing this? Yeah, I don't know why people act like it's I guess hard to fathom somebody being a victim and a villain at the same time. They can both exist in the same body, and I think that that's what's going on. Every single person is a victim. In the way, sadly, that Natalia's life has been, I wouldn't put it past this man or this, whoever, her boyfriend, to, be taking advantage of her. And I don't know, at this point, Natalia is a dollar sign.
For everybody, unfortunately. And then I think with the notoriety of this docuseries, I mean, she's done Dr. Phil. She's had interviews on all of the major outlets at this point. So yeah. But The Curious Case of Natalia Grace's final chapter will premiere across 2 nights on January 6th and 7th. That's Monday and Tuesday. Following the final chapter, ID will launch The Curious Case of, a 6-part spinoff series that features legal analyst Beth, who we stand Beth, because Beth was the only one making heads or tails of any of it, who appeared on the Grace series. It will launch on January 13th, y'all, and I'm going to be here with bells on all about this one, because I want to know what other curious cases there are. But again, finally, we'll end with Antoine Mann. Something ain't right with Natalia, okay? This girl is tweaking. I feel like she's the enemy of the house, and she said to us, we have held her hostage. Baby, I don't know. I think the man stuff is gonna get exposed. I think he flew too close to the sun, trying to just get on last season. I think he's gonna regret it for the rest of his life, because the way Beth had their profile pulled up, it seemed like she finna expose everybody, y'all. Are y'all excited for the final chapter? If it's really, Tyra got me thinking, damn, they gonna leave us on a cliffhanger again. It's gonna be another final chapter.
I don't believe it. Like, this is just so many layers to the story. Every single time a doc comes out, it seems like more information gets exposed. I don't put it past this to be not the final thing. Excited? I don't know about excited. This just makes me nervous. Like, don't present new information and make me question nothing that I feel secure about at this point. I'm secure in the fact that Natalia was a child. Don't touch that. Just leave that alone. We don't have much here in these docs to be concrete. There's just suspicion and, oh, this looked like something it wasn't, and oh, this villainy and this person was evil, but nobody's actually being proven to be anything actual factual in doing any time in jail. Like, who gonna go to prison? That's what I want to see. Somebody needs to be held accountable and go to jail. Like, how long are we gonna? Because at a certain point, it just kind of feels like we are milking these situations. Who's gonna pay? That's what I want to know.
Can we get Christine on the mic? Because that's who I need on the mic. Can we get Christine on the mic?
Christine is gonna stay as far. Christine probably in Canada. She probably changed her name. Her neighbors probably think her name Karen.
Girl,
sounds all right. Because she said this whack network. That's what she said. EJ, are you highly anticipating the final chapters, and do you think it's going to be the final?
I mean, honestly, at this point, after seeing the last 2 minutes of that, if you had not have told me to make sure that I watched the last 2 minutes of that, I would have thought the thing was over with,
no, baby,
and would have just missed all of that. But with that being said, you never know. Like, honestly, you never know, and I feel like this is just something that could just keep going on. I feel like this story, it has so many layers to it that just more and more stuff is going to come out. More and more stuff is going to come out. And I'm with Tyra. I don't want to question the stuff that I feel confident in. I don't want to question the age thing no more. I'm exhausted with that. That took me through a lot. I felt traumatized after looking at that whole thing and talking about that child the way I did up all through season 1. And then when I got to season 2 to find out that I was wrong, you know, I was like, I feel bad because the way I talked. Now, don't take me through that again. I don't want to do that no more. Just leave. Yeah, don't take me through that again. Just leave that there, and let's focus on these mans because I never believed in them from the beginning.
We going, EJ. We ain't even got to book and movie rights yet because it's coming.
Oh, they already made a Lifetime movie, child. They already made a Lifetime movie.
They made a Lifetime movie about this already?
It's a mess.
Girl, let me look it up.
It's an absolute mess, y'all. But thank y'all so much for being here. One little thing, if you guys are members, you know that every Saturday evening we have a members only watch along. I'm gonna run the selection for this week. It's my choice, and then we will be back, and the ladies will let you know what they have going on their channels. Thanks so much for being here, you guys. Yeah, it'll be all about Eve this Saturday. I'm so excited about it. EJ, let the people know what you got going on.
This week right here, girl, not too much. I'll be doing some uploads, of course. The Family Business New Orleans is going to be dropping, so y'all already know your girl is going to be dropping video after video for that. But those are all going to be uploads. All the Queen's Men, every Sunday we do Virtual Club Eden, so definitely check that out if you're into that show. It's 2 more episodes left, so to the mid-season finale. So we're there with that, and then after that, yeah, just keep your notifications on.
Yay. And you guys, I will be dropping some uploads very, very soon. We will be talking, of course, episode, the new season, final chapters of Natalia, The Curious Case of Natalia Grace. And then also we're going to be talking about Missing You, which is a brand new limited series that premiered yesterday on Netflix by Harlan Coben. Again, it's called Missing You. And y'all, it's actually worth the watch. So I'll probably be doing an upload for that in addition to the live that we'll be having on Tuesday night. So please make sure you're subscribed to all the ladies on the panel. Tyra over at Struggle Reviews TV, EJ over at EJ the TV Junkie, and of course here. And make sure you have your notification bells on so you don't miss a thing. Thanks for hanging out with us, y'all, for 2 hours and 17 minutes. I'm sorry, y'all. I know it was 2 seasons. It was a lot to talk about. We had to be ready for the final chapters. Okay, it was mandatory. It had to be done. Thank y'all so much for being here. Have the most amazing night, and
You're
we
gonna
will
get
see
the
y'all in
truth.
the next video.
I will pre-warn you. You might not like the truth. We were in a very tight-knit family. April 26th, 2010, that's the day that we adopted Natalia.